Hey there, I'm Avip. Welcome to the audiobook of my fanfic, Muitiverse Crafter. I don't own RWBY or any of its characters. This is a non-profit fan project made just for fun and shared for free. All rights belong to their original creators. Before we start, I want to let you know that since I'm not fluent in speaking English yet, the narration is AI generated. I hope you still enjoy the story and the world I've created. Thanks for listening.
Chapter 6. The Power of Horniness. Point of view. Nora, Valkyrie. I like my team. Of course, having Run as my partner makes me really like my team. We're not truly together, but it's important for me that we're together on the same team. So, Pyrrha is really cool. She's kind of a famous fighter, but she's not as arrogant as that sourpuss who dresses like a lemon ice cream. It's funny because lemon ice cream is also sour. It's almost bedtime, and for some reason, the invincible girl was sitting on her bed, staring at her scroll screen. She looked sad and downcast. Maybe I should do something to cheer her up. Hey, Ren, I whispered to the world's best partner, who was taking one of his famous naps while sitting straight. Let's go to the cafeteria and get some pancakes to cheer up Pyrrha. Ren slowly opened his eyes and looked in the direction of the invincible girl. After a few seconds, he turned to me, staring at me with those beautiful pink eyes. I don't think pancakes will cheer her up. His long black hair framed his handsome face, making him even cuter. The cafeteria is probably closed by now, too. His cute pink hair strand matching his eyes. And there's also the curfew that will start in a few minutes. His snug, kimono-style pajamas fitting so well on him. So, it wouldn't be prudent to go get pancakes. What was he talking about? Darn it. I guess I'd better use my ultimate phrase weapon to get out of trouble. Sure thing, Ren. In response, he gave me an angelic smile and went back to sleeping while sitting. Ha! It always works. Once Jaune comes back, her mood will improve, believe me. Ren said with his eyes closed. Jaune Arc, our leader. I didn't know what to think about him at first. His behavior is of a nice person, but he seemed a bit bossy when he was giving orders to everyone while fighting the giant bird Grimm. In fact, I was even afraid he might be a controlling and mean guy who'd make ridiculous demands like going to bed early, eating all your vegetables, or even worse, telling me to hug Ren fewer than 15 times a day. Just thinking about that made me want to have a chat with him, chat being the second name of Magnhild, my grenade-launching hammer. But on our first day of school, he proved to be the best leader ever. He brought breakfast for everyone. He brought pancakes for me, healthy sandwiches and freshly squeezed juice for Pyrrha, and vegetable soup, dumplings, and green tea for Ren. Silly Pyrrha was worried Jaune might have been racist for bringing the Mistralian breakfast option for Ren. You'd have to be a special kind of stupid to call the person who brought you food a racist. How much longer will this training last? Pyrrha grumbled. This girl is really into our leader. Jaune was single and a nice guy, and Pyrrha was so smitten with him, she should just talk to him about it. It's sad seeing a girl trying to deceive herself like this. It would be so much better if she were honest with her feelings and talked to him about how she's felt over the past few years. Ever since they were survivors of a grim attack in a small village in Mistral, she loved him. Good night. A tired male voice greeted from the doorway.
Jaune,
exclaimed a thirsty redhead, looking worried with the blonde. The leader looked exhausted, his clothes were all wrinkled, and he had a black eye and some purple marks on his body. I'm fine, PYR.
Ha.
He already has nicknames. My aura training is really behind compared to the other students, so Teacher Goodwitch took drastic and painful measures. I'm going to talk to her right now. She can't treat you like that. Before the redhead could leave the room, Jaune grabbed her hand, stopping her instantly. I doubt even arrested Jaune could stop the Mistral champion, but using the power of horniness, nothing is impossible. I'm fine, PYR. Jaune said, handing his scroll to his partner. My aura is already above 40%. I just need some sleep, and I'll be as good as new. Pyrrha didn't seem pleased with Jaune's condition, but I doubt she'd go against her crush's wishes. Don't make that face. The training was tough, but I got a sword.
Sword?
That's wonderful, Jaune. Pyrrha said, looking at the sword. Why doesn't it have a sheath? Hee hee. Our leader chuckled awkwardly. Because I'm an idiot. Huh. I burst out laughing, only to cover my mouth in embarrassment right after. Accidentally, the mocking laughter escaped from my mouth. I don't want to make fun of our leader, but it's so rare for someone to be sillier than I. Of course, Pyrrha was giving me a stern look, and Jaune was smiling wearily. He limped over to his bed and placed his sword and shield on it. The mattress sank significantly under the weight of the sword. I wonder if it's made of a different material. You can laugh as much as you want, Nora, but by the end of the year, I'm going to be the top first-year student. No, the top student in all Beacon. Jaune exclaimed, raising his fist to the sky. That's the spirit, fearless leader. I replied enthusiastically. I'm so happy to see that he's such a laid-back guy. But right now, I just want to take a shower and sleep. Jaune hobbled toward the bathroom with a towel and clean clothes. As soon as the door closed behind him, Pyrrha turned to face me. Dear Nora. The way she said dear was really weird. Could we have a girl-to-girl talk? Ren immediately opened his eyes and pointed his index and middle fingers at me. It was our secret code. He was asking me if I was in danger or needed help. Pyrrha had her back to him, so she didn't notice the odd gesture. Sure, no problem. I replied, looking at Ren rather than at her. Ren went back to his nap, still concerned about me. He's such a sweetheart, and I'm so lucky to have a partner as caring as him. What do you think of Jaune? The invincible girl asked, staring at me with wide eyes. What do I think of Jaune? The Amazon responded by nodding her head positively. He seems like a nice guy. He brought pancakes for me and tea for Ren, so he can't be a bad person. My answer seemed to ease Pyrrha's tension. Yeah, I like him a lot too. Like him a lot, huh? Her body tensed up again, but this time, she avoided looking me in the eyes. You didn't say, like, seriously? Where did I get that idea? Pyrrha shivered. I know where you got that from. She turned to face me, looking afraid, as if I were pointing a gun at her. You got that from a certain skinny blonde guy with a heart of gold, didn't you? Once again, she turned away. She couldn't muster the courage to meet my eyes. Oh, PYR, I said, holding back a laugh. I think the fearless leader is a nice guy, but I don't have feelings for him. My last statement seemed to wash away all her stress. She relaxed, smiled serenely and honestly. I think we're going to get along quite nicely. She concluded, extending her hand toward me. I calmly took her hand, expecting a firm handshake, but what I received was a pull, and the Mistral champion whispered threateningly in my ear. Just be careful not to belittle Jaune. He might be a bit weak right now, but we should support him. She pulled away from my face and stared at me with a colder fury than the ocean's depths. Do you agree with me, right? Crazy alert. Of course, I do. I need to hide everything sharp in this room. In fact, if anyone insults our fearless leader, send them my way, and I'll personally break their legs. My response seemed to satisfy her, judging by the smile on the redhead's face. Behind her, Ren appeared concerned about me. I needed that. Thanks to the gods, a voice came from the bathroom door. Jaune emerged from the bathroom, distracting Pyrrha, who was currently ogling the scrawny blonde shirtless. Why are you only wearing shorts? Good question, Ren. I shouldn't have to see his scrawny chest. I have a habit of sleeping shirtless, Jaune replied sheepishly. Is that a problem? That's a lack of common sense, but I can't bring myself to say it. Luckily, the best partner in the world came to my rescue. I think it is Jaune. After all, we have 2 girls in the room. I can always count on you to be the voice of reason. I don't care. Pyrrha shouted. Geez, girl, calm down, it's getting embarrassing. Nora doesn't care either. Wait, what? Right? Insane and needy eyes stared intensely at me. Yep, tomorrow I'm hiding anything pointy or sharp in this room. You could at least take your shirt off only when you're going to sleep, I told the leader. Agreed. He said, putting a shirt on.
Phew.
Are you hungry? I have some food for you. She's already playing the wife role for him. It would be sweet if she weren't a psycho. Thanks, PYR. Jaune took a spoonful of the stew, but made a disgusted face. It's cold. Pyrrha gave a weak smile but replied, You took too long, and the cafeteria is already closed. Unfortunately, we don't have a microwave to heat it up. Jaune stared at the stew, deep in thought, until he snapped his fingers, an idea forming in his mind. He walked over to the bed, picked up his new sword, and placed its tip in the stew.
Why?
With a goofy smile, Jaune spoke up. Flame on, and his sword immediately burst into flames. Cool, I commented, pointing at the weapon. A flaming sword. Jaune grinned proudly, like a child who had just scored a winning goal. I can't help but like the guy. After all, using a flaming sword to heat food seems like something I would do. Point of view, Pyrrha Nikos. Despite being injured and hungry, he devoured the stew in 3 gulps. Jaune seemed delighted. And from what he told me about the training, it wasn't just because he had a new weapon, it was because he was finally making progress. And then, she said that if I didn't pay attention, I'd get a ball to the face. Ha, ball to the face. Nora teased. I have nothing against my teammate, but she could be a little more mature. After all, Jaune could have gotten hurt. That's what I told her, Jaune said, smiling at Nora. Yeah, it's very funny, Jaune. I love his humor. It's so simple and genuine. As soon as Jaune finished eating, he recounted everything he had done during the training. The exercise with the steel balls might seem brutal to an outsider, but it would accelerate Jaune's aura control. It will even help resolve the issues with his aura's resilience and fragility. Are you going to bring us food tomorrow too, fearless leader? This girl only thinks about food. Jaune looked disheartened and then shook his head. From Monday to Friday, early in the morning, I have a scheduled appointment with a personal trainer specialized in people with aura. That sounds odd. In my combat circuits, there were many doctors, masseurs, and personal trainers, but none of them claimed to be specialized in people with aura. The number of people with aura was much smaller compared to the general population, so no one in the healthcare field would dare make such a claim. That sounds expensive, Ren commented in a neutral tone. I thought the same thing, but the teacher said it would be free. Free? A personal trainer specialized in aura would be costly in the tournaments I've participated in. At first, I even suspected that this person might be a scam artist, but he was recommended by Glinda Goodwitch herself. It's impossible for him to be a fraud, especially while operating within Beacon. Well, I think it's wonderful that you're putting in so much effort, I responded. In return, Jaune smiled at me. It was an enchanting smile that illuminated the young blonde's face, revealing perfectly aligned teeth that gleamed with a radiant touch of white. His eyes closed slightly, transmitting genuine joy, while his cheeks lifted gently, creating dimples that added a captivating charm to his expression. I heard a funny story from Team RWBY. Nora's voice pulled my attention back to the real world. Is it true that you turned down Yang? Yes, Jaune replied as if it were no big deal. Yang Xiaolong. Ren asked. That's her. The blonde with breasts as big as mine? Nora. Ren protested. It's true, hers just seemed bigger because of the big cleavage. Getting back on track, I did turn her down. That doesn't make sense. Nora, stop. Ren complained again, attempting to quiet down his partner. Don't take it the wrong way, you're a nice guy, but you're not that nice. Jaune chuckled awkwardly at Nora's comment, but it didn't seem to dent his ego. I understand what you're saying, but I barely know her and now I want to focus on my training. That's very mature of you, Ren said in a monotonous tone. That's very virgin of you, too, Nora added. This time, Ren didn't say anything. He just stared at her. It's okay, Ren. Any man would be considered crazy to reject her, but a relationship with her seems like it would be too beguiling. Beguiling is a real word? Yes, it is, Nora. Despite their back and forth, Ren didn't seem tired. He must have a lot of experience dealing with his partner. Now, if you'll excuse us, I'm going to sleep. Jaune wished us good night, smiling at each of us, but I could swear that his smile was bigger and more genuine when it was directed at me. Good night, PYR. Good night, Jaune. I have to protect that smile. Jaune is too pure for this world. Chapter 7. Mad Forger. Point of view, Jaune Arc. who would train with a personal trainer specialized in aura users. I thought it would be a hunter with a background in physical education or even medicine. Haha. Fresh air, open space, trees, and occasional grims popping up to make the training more interesting. The voice belonged to my personal trainer. I'll never understand these youngsters who prefer training in safe and boring gyms. Port, my personal trainer, was the annoying, chubby, short, old, and possibly senile Professor Peter Port. Perplexed, I reread the message Glinda sent me at 6 a.m. Golden MILF. Mr. Jaune Arc. I trust this text finds you well. I am writing to formally inform you about the upcoming personal training session arranged for you. As you are aware, the initiation site at the cliff holds significance in your training journey. I would like to inform you that your designated personal trainer is already prepared and waiting for you at the aforementioned location. The purpose of this training session is to further enhance your skills and abilities, ensuring your progress as a student of Beacon Academy. Your commitment to this training is commendable, and I believe it will contribute significantly to your growth and development. Should you have any inquiries or require further clarification regarding this training session, please do not hesitate to reach out to me directly. Your dedication to your studies and training is greatly appreciated. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I look forward to witnessing your continued growth and success as a student of Beacon Academy. Sincerely, Glinda Goodwitch. Why so formal? And there was no mistake. Port is indeed my trainer. He was waiting for me alone with no equipment except for 2 coolers. And why is he shirtless? No words, my young man. Haha. It's to be expected. Not everyone gets the chance to train with a living legend like me, commented the shirtless professor. Despite being old and having a prominent belly, the professor had large, thick, muscular arms, matching his well-defined chest. He looked like Izumi Curtis's husband, but old. How does he hide all that muscle under his uniform? How long are we going to train? No need to worry about time. We have the whole day just to focus on sculpting our bodies, the professor replied, flexing his biceps. Who is this old man showing off to? But what about my grades? I have a class with Dr. Oblek in 2 hours. Calm down, my young man. I've thought of everything. I wrote a note for Professor Oshpin to excuse you from Bart's class. Oh, crap. You'll just have to write a 50-page essay on a historical event or something of the sort. Oh, crap. Glinda informed me that you have 0 training. Is that true? In response, I lowered my face and avoided the professor's gaze. Don't worry, young man. After 1 day of training, you'll feel like a new man, a better man. I've never been motivated and insulted at the same time. This guy must be a motivational coach. As it's your first day of training, we'll start light. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and to finish a 10 kilometers run, said the professor, who is stretching. What? This must be a joke. This is Saitama's training routine. I'm nearly a couch potato, and this crazy old man wants me to do the One Punch Man workout? This training seems impossible for someone without physical preparation, Port stopped stretching and looked confused in my direction. Someone like me. Haha. It's true that you're weak and unprepared, easily blown away by a gentle breeze. Oh, my ego. But you have aura, young man. Your endurance will already be higher than normal. Really? I didn't expect that. But of course, I'm always right. He crouched down and got into a push-up position on the ground but didn't start right away, waiting for me to join. I positioned myself next to the professor and asked one last question. I'd like to ask something before we start. And what would that be? I'll do whatever you ask and put in my best effort, but I want the right to complain and whine as much as I want. A bit unconventional for my taste, but I accept your proposal. Thank you, Professor. The pleasure is mine, John. I've always wanted a student who would obey me for a whole day. A whole day? Enough talk, start sweating, you useless worm. Yes, sir. I shouted in response to the professor's commands by instinct. Point of view, Pira Nikos. As soon as I finished putting on my uniform, I noticed a message from John on my scroll. Jaune Arc. Hey, PYR. Today you guys go to class without me. I'll be stuck with Professor Port all day. See you tonight if I survive. Another private lesson? I know Jaune has potential due to his semblance and the amount of aura he has, but making him skip regular classes for one-on-one training, that's not normal. I get the feeling that Jaune is hiding something. I shake my head, trying to rid myself of the negative thoughts and uncertainty. I hope he doesn't get hurt. After all, Professor Port's reputation as a trainer has reached Mistral. The Mad Forger, that's what he's known as. Jaune will suffer a lot today. His muscles will be torn, bones broken, and tendons twisted. A true hellish training. Everyone who trains with him comes out with incredible results, as if their bodies were forged on a battlefield. But the psychological damage he inflicts is always devastating. That's why no one trains with Port more than once. It takes months for students to recover mentally, and by then any physical gains are lost. Run, wake up Nora. Jaune's busy with Professor Port, but we have to go to Professor Oblek's class. No problem, said the Mistral boy as he went to wake up his partner. And I think he's a doctor, actually. Seriously, Ren? I asked, annoyed. Just making an observation, Ren replied with a sheepish smile. I sighed tiredly. Ren and Nora aren't bad people, but I didn't click with them as well as I did with Jaune. It's going to be impossible for us to train together tonight. Point of view, Jaune Arc. You fat old fucker. Despite being weak and out of breath, I still made sure to insult whenever I could. After the workout, every muscle in my body felt like it had been turned into a symphony of pain and protest. Every step was like walking on coals, as my muscles tried to rebel against the idea of continued movement. Every time I tried to sit down, it was as if my body was playing a prank on me, turning a simple action into an Olympic challenge. Even breathing was causing pain in the muscles of my lower back. I must say I'm not a fan of your slurs. He commented on the monster in the shape of an obese elderly man who didn't drop even a drop of sweat after 3 hours of training. But I did my part. I spat out my answer with what little breath I had recovered. And because of that, I am not sending you to detention. He threw me 2 transparent bottles, one of which had water and the other had a white, viscous liquid inside. Now drink, you need energy. I'll say that I'm not really in the mood to drink this stuff because it looks like hentai jizz, but I gave my word I'd do whatever he asked. What did you think of the taste? Asked Port as soon as I took the first sip. Shit. I complained loudly. Sour on top of that. What is that? Yes, it tastes horrible, but this shake has everything your body needs: protein, carbs, healthy fats, antioxidants, and electrolytes.
Damn.
It has everything. It just lacks hydration. Nothing replaces water, young man. Now drink it all in 2 bottles, said Port, clapping his hands. In the meantime, I'm going to work on your body. The professor's hands began to glow as his fingers curled weirdly, as if he was Kazuma from Konosuba. Fuck off, old man. I tried to get away, but the muscle pain in my thigh caused me to stumble and fall flat on my face. The teacher took advantage of my fall and sat on my thighs, pinning me to the ground. Wait the fuck. Hands off, you old pervert. I'm straight. Unbelievable. I'm going to be raped in the world of RWBY? If I had to have sex with a man, it could at least be Crow, or even Ironwood with a beard. With my eyes closed, I waited for my ass to be violated, but nothing approached my buttocks. In fact, Port had grabbed me by the thighs and a strange heat began to take over my body as he massaged me. Huh. Stop squirming and let me work, boy. Muscle pain and fatigue started to disappear from my thighs. What is it? Is it his semblance? After the massage, I got up quickly, without even remembering that I was all bruised up from training. How are your legs? Are they okay? In fact, I feel like they are lighter. Haha, laughed the proud professor. My semblance works in conjunction with the aura of the target I touch. This way I speed up the healing process, but you still need to provide the necessary nutrients for muscle enhancement, so drink the entire bottle. Is he a healer? That's why I have such a sculptural body. I can do the hardest and most harmful training possible because my semblance will heal all injuries and make me stronger. As I sipped the white shake, Port went to every muscle group in my body, massaging as well as healing fatigue and soreness. When he finished, I felt so much better and so much stronger. This is amazing. I don't even feel the post-workout pain. I see you're not as stupid as the other teachers think.
Ouch.
Thank you. I responded sarcastically. Wait a second. Do the teachers think I'm stupid? Only professors of theoretical classes, weapons training and maintenance, survival, first aid, and all those who teach elective subjects. That is all of the faculty except Glinda, Ashbin, and you? Yes, that seems correct to me. It seems I have yet to prove myself to most of the Beacon teachers, the only one I know from the series being Bartholomew Oblek, the teacher I'm missing from class right now. I admit it was good practice. I bet if I run, maybe I'll catch the end of Oblek's class. As soon as I tried to take a step forward, a heavy hand was present on my shoulder. The pressure of the grip made the bones in the region creak and prevented me from moving forward. Where do you think you are going? If it wasn't for Aura, he would have broken my shoulder on the spot. That was just our first series. Series?
What are you talking about?
We're going to do another set of 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and to top it off, a 10K run. My blood froze instantly. Again?
Yes.
Only faster this time. Are you crazy? Port frowned at the time. You may have the right to complain as much as you like, but I am not obliged to put up with your rudeness, he said as he combed his mustache with his fingers. Because of that, we are going to do 150 of each exercise, and the race will be 15 kilometers. Speechless and open-mouthed, I began to think of a reason to stop. This is crazy. Will you spend all day breaking and reassembling me? Is that why he brought those coolers of water and sour cum?
No.
I have to get away from this madman. But then, how will I face my team afterwards? Of course I can't force you to do anything. You can quit at any time. You can even spend the rest of the day in your room if you want. His voice was tender and didn't have an ounce of judgment. Even with the teacher's support, I still felt a feeling of guilt beginning to take over my mind. Ren and Nora were orphans with nothing and no one in the world, and yet they entered Beacon honestly. Pyrrha would move the world to help me be a better huntsman. Glinda worked overtime to help me with Aura, and as insane as Port's training was, it was already paying off. I stared at the old teacher who was also examining me. He looked like a dwarf from RPG with those big, defined arms, beer belly, and mustache. To stay 100% faithful, he just needed a beard. Fuck man. I need to concentrate. I can't give up now. This is my best chance to catch up with the protagonists. It's okay. What did you say, young man? Come on, old man, let's work out. I'll do all the shit you say, but I better become the strongest first-year student, or I'm going to stick your musket axe up your ass. In response, the professor laughed out loud. Haha, that's the spirit, young man, said the excited teacher. It doesn't matter if you have a foul mouth. I don't care if you didn't have any training before entering Beacon. What matters is that you have the courage and willingness to face your problems head-on and work to get rid of your weaknesses. Too much talk for too little exercise, you old fart. Haha. What followed were the most intense and painful hours of my 2 lives. I sweated, bled, cried, vomited, and broke my bones more times than I'd like to admit, but I didn't give up. I wouldn't have made it without Professor Port. His semblance and words of motivation dragged me to the end of the training. By the end of the day, we had spent a total of 11 hours of training. We were attacked by Grimm 7 times, and each time, Port engaged the creatures in combat without any weapons. He defeated them quickly and then returned to the exercises, moving faster than I did to catch up. It's infuriating how awesome this guy is. About the time I was ambushed in the forest while taking a dump, I'd rather not comment on that. How are you, young man? Physically, I'm fine, but I have a weird headache. It's from exhaustion. I recommend eating something and going straight to bed. I can't. I have plans. What could an exhausted young man want to do after so much training that isn't eating and sleeping? Port thought aloud as he stroked his mustache. I appreciate the training, but my personal life is none of your business. So, are you meeting a lady? Damn, nosy mustache son of bitch. Take my advice, John. Train from Monday to Saturday and rest on Sundays. That sounds a bit monotonous. Haha, you'll understand when you're older. I know. It's ironic to hear that when I have 2 lives under my belt. Same time tomorrow. My question caught the professor off guard. What do you mean by tomorrow? Aren't we going to train anymore? Do you want to train more? The professor seemed incredulous at my decision. Don't take this the wrong way. I've already noticed the difference with your crazy destructive training, but I'm still probably one of the weakest in the class. Muscles were starting to show on my body, but I still had some fat on my belly and arms. I stared the professor in the eyes, and he still seemed shocked. I need to train more. It was a bit hard to interpret Port's expression, but his next action was quite straightforward. The sweaty, hairy old man hugged me. Haha, splendid, incredible. You, my young man, are a man among men. I wanted to complain and shout at him to let me go, but if I did that, I'd end up with his chest hair in my mouth. You can't keep missing classes every day, so we'll meet here before sunrise where I'll train your muscles until you break. Then I'll heal you and send you to the classroom. Fine, but let go of me, you fat Sam Elliott. But go on, you only have a few hours until curfew. Go to your date. I don't even bother correcting him. I don't want to keep Pira waiting.
I hope you enjoyed my work. If you'd like more, check out the links in the video description. Goodbye for now.